That's the hard truth. It took us a decade to see the culmination of some of the bad ideas that have been put into place, the lack of regulation on Wall Street, middle class folks struggling. So we're not going to solve all those problems overnight, but that doesn't mean we have to sit back and do nothing about this economy.
That's it.
There are steps we can take right now to put people back to work.
Yes.
There are steps we can take right now to put money in the pockets of working Americans. There are things we can do right now to restore some of the security and fairness that has always defined this great country of ours. And that's what will happen if Congress will finally get its act together and pass the American Jobs Act. It has now been 3 weeks since I sent this bill to Congress. It's a detailed plan to get this economy moving. It's the kind of proposals that, in the past, Democrats and Republicans have supported. There's nothing radical in this proposal. These are the kind of things that in the past we've had bipartisan support for. It's fully paid for. And that's why I need you to help me convince the people you sent to Washington that it's time to pass this jobs bill and get America working again. Now, you just heard Kim's story. There are teachers and educators like Kim all over the country. I met a first grade teacher from Minnesota at the White House who was laid off after having been named the teacher of the year in her school district. Her peers, students, determined she was the best teacher in her school district. She got laid off. There's a teacher over in Grand Prairie, Texas, who actually chose to resign in order to protect the job of a single mom who also taught at the school. Think about that.
Wow.
Here in Dallas, all across the state of Texas, you've seen too many teachers lose their jobs because of budget cuts. And thousands more could be at risk in the coming year. Now understand, this doesn't just hurt these teachers. It doesn't just hurt them and their families. It hurts our children. It undermines our future as a nation. If you've got Kim, an AP teacher, not in the classroom, those kids aren't going to have the same opportunities. And I want everybody to understand that what is at stake is nothing less than our ability to compete in this 21st century economy. I told the story a while back. I was visiting South Korea and had lunch with the president there. And I asked the president, I said, what's your biggest challenge right now? He said, well, my biggest challenge is our parents are way too demanding. He said they want their kid to learn English when they're in first grade. So in addition to all the science and all the math classes, I'm now having to ship in teachers from outside the country just to teach our kids English. Starting in elementary school. This is what the president of South Korea said. They can't hire teachers fast enough. They call them nation builders. That's what they call teachers in Korea, nation builders. Because they know that educating their children is the best way to make sure their economy is growing. Make sure that good jobs are locating there. Making sure they've got the scientists, the engineers, and the technicians who can build things and ship them all around the world. That's what he understands. And the whole country supports him. Here in America, we're laying off teachers in droves. It makes no sense. It has to stop. Now, this bill will prevent up to 280,000 teachers from losing their jobs. This bill will support almost 40,000 jobs right here in the great state of Texas. So here's what I need you to do. Tell Congress to pass this bill. Put teachers back in the classroom where they belong. It's not just teachers. Tell Congress to pass the American Jobs Act, and there also will be funding to save the jobs of firefighters and police officers and first responders who risk their lives to keep us safe. That's what happens if they pass this bill. Pass this jobs bill, and hundreds of thousands of unemployed construction workers will get back on the job, rebuilding our schools, rebuilding our roads, rebuilding our bridges, rebuilding our ports, rebuilding our airports. You know, the other day I visited a busy bridge in Ohio. Actually, it's between Ohio and Kentucky. Speaker Boehner, he's from Ohio. Republican leader McConnell's from Kentucky. I thought it'd be a good place to have an event. This bridge is classified as functionally obsolete. That's a fancy way of saying it's old and needs to be fixed. There's a public transit project in Houston that would help clear up one of the worst areas of traffic in the country. There are schools all over this country that are literally falling apart. Roof crumbling, rain dripping in, too hot in the summer, too cold in the winter. Science labs all worn out. Got a couple of beakers. Built back in the 50s, before the internet was invented. That's an outrage. Understand, America became an economic superpower in part because we had the best infrastructure. Amen.